Great, from the Bedroom Steps Hotel. And Darren, can you just explain what you'll be doing now then?
Yeah, well first of all I'm going to start these artichokes cooking because they take a little while, being quite a hard root vegetable that they are, hard beast. So we get them cooking in a second into the oven. And then the hog puddings here is some of Gavin's hog puddings, which as I say, these have already been cooked, they've been chilled down, as Gavin's mentioned. However, we didn't use the butcher steel, we just used a technical piece of kit, but there it is, that's the finished product. Yeah, and then we're going to cut that down, get that in the pan as well. Some dry wild mushrooms there, so the agretti, which is this marsh plant, and the nuts, which unfortunately I didn't have time to do them today, but, well, I did this morning, but not now. So these are the cob nuts, which I spoke of earlier, which, say, about 100 years ago, these were everywhere, so they tell me in this country. Due to the world going the way it is, they now come from, hazelnuts come from around the world, so we don't bother with cob nuts anymore. They grow in Kent. I did do a little research as well. 100 years ago there were 7,000 acres of these planted in Kent. There's now 250 acres of planted in Kent, because we can get them cheaper in hazelnut form from the other side of the world. So
it's sad, really, isn't it?
It's very sad, yeah, and they're fantastic. And I say these are fresh. They came into me this morning, picked them down this morning, and it's a completely different eating experience to eating hazelnut, which is dried out and not really got any oils left in it, just quite bland really. So yeah, we're going to use that. So I'll start off with these artichokes, get them cut down a bit, and then we can get them cooking.
So artichokes then, yeah, I mean, it's quite unusual, still not used an awful lot, I don't think.
Not a great deal, no. These actually started off life in America. They were discovered by a Frenchman and brought over to Europe. A lot of people don't like them, but the taste of them, they're quite, I really like them as a nutty sort of vegetable. At this time of year where we're coming into getting back to later in the year, all the other green vegetables stop growing, so you're into your root vegetable seasons. And I think they're a fantastic product. They're really full of sugars, nice and sweet, real good flavour to them. There is unfortunately something in them which is undigestible for the human body, which can give repercussions occasionally where you'll find that unpleasant gases can flow around if you eat too many of them. So it's not recommended to eat them in large quantities, because otherwise that could be an issue.
And are these raw?
These are pretty raw at the moment, yeah. And we're about to get them in there and get them cooking.
So what's this, just ordinary cooking oil, is it, or olive oil?
This is a Cornish rapeseed oil, which again is very healthy, locally produced oil. I think it's done. Yeah, most of the things we use, we try and use a healthy option as we can, and also to buy locally. So this is actually the same one that you see up in the bottles up there, Cornish rapeseed oil, which is based about 5 miles down the road from where the hotel is. So yeah, great to support local produce like that.
No, exactly that. And I noticed you put some salt in there. Presumably that's Cornish sea salt. And,
that is Cornish sea salt, yes.
And that's the perfect thing about Cornwall, isn't it? The fact that you can get all these things just literally on your doorstep.
Yeah, precisely. Everything that we have is all easily obtainable within Cornwall. Only this morning I was in the kitchen at work, and 4 of our organic local growers came in with just bags of different weird old things they've grown. Sometimes it's something which we've ordered, other times it's sold by the way. We've got a bit of this kicking around, and this has just come in. Certainly the fennel pollen, which we've been using recently, is now gone to seed, and one of our local growers said, oh, I've got this fennel seed here, which normally you just throw that away, but I know you boys will probably use it, so here it is. Take it on and you can dry it for fennel seed, or you can use it as a fresh fennel seed for a salad and things. As I say, we do a lot with salads, whether it's more than your average salad, where we're sort of roasting vegetables off and different fish, different things. So this here is a marsh plant called agretti, which is...
What's it called again?
Agretti, A-G-R-E-T-T-I. Yeah, so it's grown in a salty soil. It's great in Cornwall, it really thrives in coarse conditions. You can eat it raw as a salad item. I'm going to lightly cook it today, but you can eat it any way you wish. It's like a samphire, quite similar to that. But it's a good source of seasoning as well, because put that in there. I put salt into those, but not a great deal of. That was just enough to sort of start that going. Yeah, no, actually.
So how long will they need to stay in there for?
Probably about 15 to 20 minutes at that size. Or 70, yeah. So that'll be fine at that. And then when they come out, it's not about this where every bit's still compiled perfectly on the plate together. It's about, as Gavin says, eating something warm when it's done. We're going to cook that, cook these, cook those. This is all we put together. That's going to have a dressing, which is using a nut oil and nice vinegar, and then that's just all we put together. serve that warm as a salad, straight as it is, and fantastic as it is. Doesn't need to be more than that. Right, this is Gavin's hot pudding here, so you can tap this any way you wish. First thing first is get the skin off, because although it's lovely and comes from cows and organic and nice, we're going to take it off because it doesn't eat quite as well as the inside product.
Would you always take the skin off?
Yes. Yeah, predominantly we use our hot pudding for our breakfast times. We do use it for other things as well, but made for breakfast, and that. It's a sausage which a lot of our guests who come down to us, a lot of people come to Cornwall, and as Gavin says, it's an unknown thing. What's this on your breakfast buffet? Because when we're doing 300 plus people for breakfast in the morning, you have a lot of people rushing around and say, oh, what's this? And so we try as much as we can to involve our restaurant team with what we're doing and what the knowledge is, so they know about these things, go and visit these suppliers and learn from the likes of Gavin so they can pass it on to the customers. And it's interesting how many of them actually will then turn around and say, oh, after a day or two in the hotel, I might have a sausage this morning, just have a few hogs pudding. Whereas the sausage has been fried off and roasted, the hogs pudding, that's been cooked in a steamer, and then we've literally just grilled that. So even though it's got the higher fat content, as you can see here, there's fat set onto it, that'll come off, and then it's just literally grilled. And yeah,
And also it's nice for people coming down to the hotel, the restaurant, to have something slightly different as well, isn't it?
Yeah, as Gavin said, myself and him worked on a recipe where we wanted something that was slightly different, so put the growth through it, which made it's got a bit of a crunch to it as opposed to Gavin's sandbox from the recipe, which is lovely also. It gives something a bit different again, just to be different and people wondering what's that in it, and it's good to have a knowledge to pass on to the customers.
I notice you haven't put any oil in that. Is that because of the fat content there?
Yeah, the fat which is already in that sausage will be ample for cooking that, and it will just sizzle away in there happily, as it is then, and then just get some colour onto it.
So Darren, if you can't see with the cameras there, he's just sort of chopped it into, I guess, inch size pieces.
Yeah, it's just, roughly cut it down, and you can see where that starts to caramelise up nicely. So, yeah, it's a good product because it just sort of covers itself. It comes in tied, ready to go, there's no prep on it, and then you can just literally cut it, cook it, and it's in.
Okay, so roughly how long will you fry this for then?
Probably about 3 to 4 minutes, and that'll be where I want it to be. And so I'm going to take it off and cook these other ingredients, and then that's all just going to be mixed together as a warm salad. When they come out, that'll go back through it. And that should give us a nice salad.
And you mentioned the part of the Driven Steps Hotel, but a wild food cafe, is that?
Yeah, it's the wild Cafe, which is where I'm probably based. But we open at breakfast time in the morning, and we just open straight through the day. Lunchtime is more of a cafe feel, where we've got like salads, homemade burgers, pizzas, etc. That's all there. And then the evening time we offer lots of family dining, but we do a lot of children in the hotel. The children's tea service, which is manic and great, and they seem to enjoy themselves. And then into the adult service as well later on. And then downstairs in our second restaurant, they're a sustainable seafood restaurant, so they sort of doing things from a different angle. Just recently got the Good Food Guide, which is great for them. So it just offers our customers the choice of the different restaurants. So let's go.
Thank you. Any questions for Darren at the moment? Things just smell gorgeous actually. Really, really nice. Despite the fact that we don't quite know what spices are in there.
No,
it's the trade secret of
still top secret at the moment, yes.
Darren.
Yeah. Okay, Tom, we were discussing one of them earlier actually. We were discussing the use of caraway, as Gavin mentioned that could possibly be used in something, which isn't necessarily in this, but Gavin was
May or may not be in this.
May or may not be, we can't confirm at this point. But he was reminiscing about childhood days and being fed it by his grandmother, which I have to say passed me by, and I don't remember it, but he assures me that caraway was a spice used in something that your grandmother used to give you when you were a young lad.
Yeah. You don't hear so much now about caraway, do you? It's not something that, in the sense that, coriander and everything else seems to be, popular and used quite a lot. You don't hear so much about caraway.
No, it's strange really, and I'm not entirely sure why people, there's trends in food, and when this Gavin was saying earlier about cuts that they use in sausages, pork belly seems to have taken off massively in the last 5-10 years. Everybody's cooking the pork belly. So all of a sudden, the pork belly, which used to be a cheap cut.
Who for any written store will have that, didn't they?
very huge early for that one. And you know, it means that everybody then is on pork belly, so the pork belly won't be used for what it used to be used for.
Or the shoulder of pork anyway it was.
Exactly. The lamb shank, which went through a phase a while back of being on everybody's menu, which now seems to have calmed down again a bit. But it's interesting for chefs because it drives prices up or down depending on what's in fashion or what the TV chef's cooking. So yeah, it's all just mixes it up and keeps you on your toes, because as soon as you start something different to play with, you know, it gives us a different angles to attack from. We'll just use the same pan again because it's all going in the same direction. So these are raw mushrooms, that's all local mushrooms. Just going to cook those off. Don't want them too hot, otherwise they're going to burn them.
Would they have been picked locally or not really?
They can be. They're not. These ones weren't local, but they do grow locally. We actually have a chef at the hotel who goes out foraging, and it's one of his sites. He does chutneys and preserves and jams, which we've actually got a couple of jars up here, because we make all of our jams and helps all of our chutneys, which we sell in the hotel. It's all available. We also supply to the Scarlet with those as well. And when he's not making those, he's out foraging about the place for things such as this or other rock bits. At this time of year there's lots of weddings on, so he's doing like that. But yeah, he loves getting out there and getting mushrooms. Certainly earlier in the year when we had wild garlic everywhere and out picking stinging nettles and any other thing you could find.
And these are really lovely actually, because the colour, it's a lovely colour. It's not just the usual sort of grey mushroom colour, it's just lovely.
Yeah, well, mushrooms are very misunderstood things. Everybody thinks is a mushroom generally. It's just the white round thing that's fairly watery and doesn't have a great deal of flavour to it. Whereas these little mushrooms are absolutely fantastic, full of flavour. And there's so many different varieties of mushroom that you can get so many different flavours out of them, different textures as well from the different mushrooms. And it's really good for people to try different mushrooms. And they're not always the easiest because they're quite small, and some poor person has to stand there and pick through them, make sure there's no dirt on them. But you know, all in all, it gives a different eating experience, and it's all very nice.
It smells really, really lovely actually there.
Well,
And
check on these.
with the artichokes, if you've just come in, Darren from the Badruz and Steps Hotel restaurant is cooking Gavin's hogs pudding from the Cornwall Sausage Company, and also Darren's just literally fried and cooked some artichokes there, and got some mushrooms there, and the hogs pudding here.
So when we get this compiled, we'll then get on to a second bit, which is some bacon that Gavin's got.
Can you just remind us what this is called as well?
Agretti.
Agretti.
Yeah. You got a tap kit or not? I think it's splash water, could you? Yeah. Yeah, it's got quite a lot of water in it. You can just put a touch of water in the pan with it as you cook it. I'll just have to start it to cook down. And so I'm not going to cook it off quickly, because it can be eaten raw. Just a little splash in there. I'll just start the cooking. And I'm going to put our nuts in with that as well. I mean, most of these things are all, autumnal. These are just coming season. These come in season. The Agretti grows season round. Really, it's quite a hardy plant. To say the fresh nuts, which is just going season as well.
And these haven't been cooked at all or anything, have they?
No, these are at the moment. It's raw steak. I'm going to put them in the pan there in a second with the artichokes just to finish off. As with the walnuts. And again, the walnuts completely different taste to a dried shop-bought walnut. Fresh walnuts. We're starting their season now. And just really nice, fresh, nice and flavour.
Yes, they look lovely. They
Yeah,
really
it's
do.
in there, the skin's so soft and you can just feel the skin straight off.
Sometimes with walnuts they're a bit tough, aren't they, on the outside? So
No,
that's lovely.
the skins on these is
Oh, that's lovely.
like
Very
paper really, it's come straight off them.
nice. Really nice. So we've got walnuts and cob nuts there.
Walnuts and cobnuts, yeah. Put them there.
Any questions for Darren or Gavin at the moment?
Did you say that Agretti was picked in Cornwall?
Yes, this was grown by Laura and Paul Salmon, who run Newlina Produce in St Newlyn East. We've been using this all through it came in late spring, and they've been growing it all summer.
It doesn't grow just in the wild, we wouldn't see it in the head.
You can get it in the wild, but it's very hard to find in the wild, so they tell me. I've not actually found it myself. but it does grow wildly around. It's similar to rock samphire, which slightly smaller leaves, slightly saltier, but it's a similar flavour to that. Yeah, they've cultivated it for us, for our use at their farm, but you can get it locally if you're a keen forager. And we've got foraging handbooks at work where when chefs are wandering around and looking a little bored, we give them a forage handbook and send them out. And they like to go and have a little wander, see what they find.
So how would this grow then, the aggressive? I mean, where would you find it if you did have
On the rock, I mean, where we are, we're just above the Morganforth beach, and the cliff face behind that, there's the rocks there which have got similar things to that. Rock samphire, there's 101 different little green vegetables growing there. Sea beet, sea purslane, which we use quite a lot of in the restaurant. So it's just on cliff faces, because to say it's very hardy, that will sit there and get battered by the wind. It's not going to freeze it at all. And yeah.
Does it have a flavour similar to something else? You mentioned fennel earlier. Is it at all? It looks a bit like fennel.
No, samphire is probably the best thing to like it too. It's just well, you try something to it. Have a hot top in.
Can I eat any part of it?
You can eat any part that you wish. It'll taste like salty sort of grass.
It's a really unusual flavour. Sheila, do you want to come and try a little bit? Or anybody else want to try a little bit of this agretti? Because it's very, very unusual.
It's one of those plants where it stores a lot of water, so it doesn't. Yeah, when it gets hit with the salt water.
I think he loses his nuts slowly as well.
So losing my nut all happens on a regular basis. So that's almost done. And then I'm going to get some of Gavin's bacon in a second and make a bit of a mess with that. And whilst I'm doing that, I'll just have a little taste of this.
That's lovely. What do you think? It's very unusual.
I'm very worried about cooking things myself.
That's the thing. Sheila's just said that, you know, it's all very well going out foraging, but you really do need to know what you're looking for, don't you?
Yeah, if you get yourself a good forager's handbook, I mean, you mentioned that Youth Friendly Witness Store, he does do a great selection of books, forager's handbooks, a mushroom book, greens book, seaside greens.
So make sure the dog's not been there first.
Okay?
So make sure the dog's not been there first.
Well, it's always best if foraging to go a little bit off the beaten track, don't go too near to a road, things like that. But you can generally get a sense of where animals will and will not go. Like elderflowers earlier in the season, we went through a load of elderflowers, but then you're not going to go for anything that's quite low down on the bush because that's going to have dogs in near it. So you have chefs climbing up trees and picking elderflowers to make champagne and cordials and anything else you fancy. We'll get that in there.
This is such an interesting combination, isn't it? It's really unusual. It smells gorgeous.
Yeah, it's just it's a selection of all things that autumnally or quite nutty flavours with all these bits.
Is that something that you always try to do at the restaurant, trying to reflect the seasons and change with the changing climate?
Yes, absolutely. Whatever's in season and best around is what we like to be using in the restaurant. A, because there's abundance of it around, and B, because it keeps us and our chefs on their toes.
What did you just put in there?
That was a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon vinegar and a little bit of walnut oil, just to give it a little bit more of the oil in there. Just get in and have a good mixture around with that. And so you've got your warm salad there, where some of these bits.
Very nice.
You're going to have a bit of crunch still from your artichoke, but it's not quite, haven't cooked to be on the point, because if you overcook an artichoke, it goes very soft. So you've got that there. You've got the softness to pudding, your mushrooms. What I might do,
absolutely lovely. It
if I could
really
ask,
does.
Gary, could you do something with that and that? If I pass it across to you. You can do up some
I
little
think it's
samples.
time to actually have a sample of that. That really does look lovely. Fantastic.
I'm just going to get some more bits.
What I like about it, I think, is that as a butcher as well, as you know, we go through great lengths, we produce our own pork, we also source local pork. But I think there's something very sort of almost romantic about this dish, because everything that Darren's put into it, it's like, you're looking at wild mushrooms, you're looking at forage produce, this is all stuff, you can almost vision visions of the pig itself going out and finding all these things for itself. This is kind of it's got a real appeal to me personally. But I don't know where anybody else is getting that.
No, it does look lovely. It looks really, well, it's like wild food, isn't it, in a way? I mean, it must be so nice for you to have been there, to basically have created that, and then to see it like this.
It's one of the biggest privileges, I think, of being a producer in Cornwall, is we've got such a vast wealth of great hotels, chefs, restaurants, loads of Cornish talent in the kitchen, that it's really great as a producer. You put your heart and soul. I mean, our company strapline is made with love and eaten with passion. We believe every bit of that, and we share that with the guys in the kitchens as well. They care so much about it. They look after your produce as much as you look after it when you produce it. It's one of the best things about being a food and drink producer in Cornwall, and it goes without saying. I think everybody out there would agree with me on that, without a doubt. But I'm just going to get some of this up so these guys can taste it.
That's fantastic. And can I just ask you, Darren, what you're doing now?
Yes, this is Gavin's new flavour bacon, which he's just been playing about with.
This is our Cornish sweetheart.
What you can explain what the bacon is, Gavin?
Our Cornish sweetheart is basically it's our first great taste award. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but to us that's quite a big deal for us. We got a great taste gold award this year with it. It's a dry cured recipe. It's Cornish streaky bacon, so it's produced from the belly of the pig. It's a dry cured process, so there's no brine injected into the meat. It's literally a salt and seasoning that flavours the meat, draws the moisture out, and then it's essentially marinated. It's marinated with chilli and molasses. As far as I'm concerned, sweet and heat is always a winner. So to be honest, the name for it came up by accident, really. We were trying to work out what we should call it. We decided actually, how should it eat? And the answer was it should eat really like a Cornish woman. To some extent, it should have a nice bit of sweetness about it, but it's capable of giving a bit of a kick when it wants to. Much like my beloved missus, bless her. So this is where it came from, but we're really pleased with this. So we'd love to share this with you.
Fantastic. Congratulations about
Thank you very much.
your award.
It is, of course, available down at the Cornish Sausage Company store, but Darren's come up with a really great little recipe for this, and I think, I'm going to leave it to him to do it justice while I sort these out so you guys can have a taste.
Yeah, so we've taken Gavin's bacon, which I've sliced it off here, and it's very, obviously we wouldn't be doing this in the kitchen at work where you've got the meat which is slightly cured with the herbs, but it's all going into the same thing, so we'll be safe on this one. We're basically going to just cook this down separately, and then we're going to mix it with some beetroots, some feta cheese, although it's actually Fiesta, the Cornish produced cheese. It can't be called feta for reasons of legalities, a bit like Cornish pasty can't be called Cornish if it's not Cornish. So we're just going to mix that with that. We've got some chilli here, just to give a little bit more heat. And I'm going to just do it up as a little fritter. One of the things we do a lot of in the cafe at work, little vegetable fritters and just things that you can just nibble on, little tapas items. So this is similar to something we do at work, with a little beetroot and Fiesta fritter. Well, I thought, why not add some of Gavin's bacon to that? A bit of chilli to it to give it some more heat. And then some fresh herbs, pan fry that. And I've got a little yogurt dip as well, which we're going to serve that with.
Sorry.
I'm going to point it. So I'm not going to go mad with the chilli because it's like everyone's cup of tea. But one chilli with seeds should seal off any problems.
So Darren just chopping the chilli up there. Yeah, I suppose you do have to be very careful when you use chilli, don't you? Just so that you don't swamp the flavours of everything else. So you've just got to know
Yes,
how
and
much to use.
And that's probably going to be enough for that because you've also got the chilli which is in the bacon. And also, as Gavin said, it's got molasses in it, so there's a tendency for this to burn if I try and cook it on too hard heat. Fantastic if you're cooking it at home, but when you try and cook it in the commercial kitchen, where you're cooking things at 200 plus degrees on a regular basis, you can end up where it's really going to burn with that sugar in there. But this should be fine.
Would you like some, or you just like some? I thought you might be.
This is gorgeous. This is really, really lovely.
So it's almost, as Gavin said, what you could picture the hog eating before it's turned into the pudding, other things go with it. The very just sort of autumnal, warming things that are about.
It is. It's absolutely lovely. Very unusual as well. Really lovely.
Yeah, we try and do things a little bit differently, and we try and keep them as strange as we can be.
But it's interesting about how you've complemented the hog's pudding with the choice of a couple nuance with it. I mean, it really is very unusual, but they all balance each other so well.
Yeah, well, as I said, it's certainly from Gavin's point of view, he's a very passionate food producer, and you get a lot of the time where people will just think it's sausage, it's bacon, it's breakfast. You know, it's trying to show that actually it's a quality meat product that can be used in.
You've just got that bit of kick in it.
Sorry.
Just got that bit of a kick in it.
It does. It's quite spicy, isn't it, the hog's pudding? It does, as Martin says, it's got a bit of a kick to it.
Yeah, and it's trying to get it so that it's different from your average sausage. You know, it's quite easy to make a hog's pudding quite bland from Gavin's point of view, where people can't tell the difference between that and
it's got taste to it. I've had hog's pudding that's got no taste, and hog's pudding has got a bit of a taste to it, and that's got some nice taste to it.
It certainly has, hasn't it? It's lovely, I think. Sheila, seeing as you had a hand in making it, what do you think?
Thoroughly enjoyed it, and the nuts in it are really nice, aren't they?
Yeah, as I said, it's a completely different experience from eating a sort of shop bought hazelnut, which is kind of a plastic bag that was a year old and came from China, for example. It's also part of my home.
Okay, sir, what do you think?
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Unusual flavours.
Yeah, so a lot bigger than a regular sausage and the texture was gorgeous.
Quite spicy, lovely.
So it makes one to eat their vegetables.
Sorry?
Makes one to eat their vegetables.
Yeah, it's true actually, it does, in a nice unusual way.
Into me 5 a day without forcing it one.
Okay, lovely.
Right, so, we have our fritters. Well, you'd have the bacon for this cold because obviously it's going to start to cook about it now, but for the time that we've got, we'll put it in for now and see how we get on.
Okay, lovely. So can you just remind us of what's in there again?
Yeah, so far we've got beetroot, Cornish Fiesta cheese, not to be confused with feta cheese, some mint, some parsley, and some spring onions and chilli. I'm just going to bind that with a little bit of egg, a small amount of breadcrumbs, and then we'll just fry those off, and that's just a little finger food that you can just pick out and eat with a little light lunch, or coffee, whatever you want to.
Very nice.
Just a little egg in there should be enough.
Is this how you serve the hog's pudding in the restaurant?
Sorry?
Is this how you actually serve the hog's pudding
We have done it that way before, yes. Yeah,
as a snack?
Yeah, we have a salad display, as I said, which it's not your average salad where it's just the basic bits. We cook the things off and they're warm, and as they come out, they then go out into the salad display, which we then sort of refresh throughout the morning period up until the late afternoon. And you can just go in and just have a scoop of salad, 3, 5, 6 scoops of salad, whatever. Yeah, I say we don't refrigerate them because if you refrigerate the salads, it kind of loses its freshness, and we try and just put it out there so it's at room temperature, and you can just add yourself to it, and it will still be warm. It will never get to a point of being cold. Now I'm just adding a few breadcrumbs to this, which will just bind it together.
So you put 2 or 3 eggs in there, didn't you? And then
yeah, just 2 eggs and breadcrumbs. It's a really simple recipe. Beetroots, love beetroots, fantastic things. As a child, I always remember having beetroots with just the little pickled ones in a jar, and they were always a bit from pickled beetroots again. Yes, wasn't a great fan of them, but since sort of getting a bit older and actually getting involved with cooking and realising that you can get fresh beetroots, which grow in abundance around here. Certainly this morning, we got some fresh ones in from a supplier. White striped ones, candied ones, golden ones, red ones, cylindrical ones. You know, it's all very nice little product to use. Very sweet, you can use it for desserts, for starters, for main courses. It's all good. There's a little bit of flour on that as well, just to bind it. Should be about there.
how long did it take you to come up with this recipe?
Well, I planned on doing all of this yesterday, but then I kind of got called into meetings. So this morning when I got to work, was what producers coming through the door, which is generally how we work a lot at the hotel. One of my chefs actually hiding over there in the audience, and he's a great one for coming up with random things on a day. You tell him, this produce has just come through the door, what are we going to make with it? Have a look in the fridge, find something, make it, see how it goes, and then as soon as you've done that, you think, okay, what's the next thing to go? What's on the next? And it keeps it ever changing, which does give us a challenge. And certainly this year, we've opened the 2 new restaurants both this year. We've just come to the end of our first busy period for the summer,
And has it been busy this summer?
It's been very busy this summer, yeah. We've just sort of starting to calm down a bit now, but it's been up until this week, we've just been up against it flat out, and it's been good. So it's been well received with a few people who have been slightly confused by what we're doing, because it is very different to what the traditional hotel used to be, where it used to be traditional servants who come in, sit down, here's a 3-course menu, this is that, there is a soup, don't worry, we've always got the soup and this. And now it's very much, well, you can come in, you don't necessarily have to get dressed up, you can come off the beach with your children. So we've got the Herring restaurant downstairs, which they're more tailored to the adults having more fine dining experience, which we've got great food and coming with your family. Our Sunday roast is something which is pick you up quite a lot, because the way we do our Sunday roast is just to do a dish, as you have it at family home. Everything in a big dish, put it in the middle of the table, you tell us how many people there are, and you literally land it on the table, dig in, help yourselves. You know, and again, it's just about.
Yeah. So you've got your meat, your potatoes, your vegetables all there in the middle, and
it's all there in a big dish.
From that.
And you just straight into that and put some plates down and help yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And now here, I mean, these are sort of, you make them into little patties or little fritters, haven't you?
Yeah, it's just something, you know, we do these, we always do the vegetarian version usually of this at work, so there's always a different flavour on or whatever we've got in season that we're cooking. Obviously Gavin gave me some bacon and I thought, oh, I'll do a little fritter with
Great
it.
colour there. Oh,
Yeah,
isn't it?
fantastic.
A lovely colour.
And you got the feta in there as well, with fiesta with a little bit of white and add some fresh herbs through it. Just all clean flavours that just hopefully work together.
Which herbs did you use, sorry?
Mint and parsley, which again, you know, the herbs, the chilies are locally grown chilies. The herbs are both from New Zealand, the same people we gave us the Agrati earlier on. All of this stuff, that came from a chap called Rob, who lives just outside Truro, the beetroots. You know, as much as we can, all of these things
And
try and come
also
from.
really healthy as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, really healthy. Because
And-
everything is pure and
And this is a really simple thing. You'd struggle to find a vegetable that's as cheap as a beetroot. And if you were to buy fresh beetroots, I mean, it pays just over £1 for a kilo of beetroots. And so versatile, you can make them into these fritters, make purees out of them, drinks. I quite like it as a juice, to be honest, but you know, it's.
I think this is
No,
funny because
it's
I've certainly never seen food cooked like this in a way. It's completely unusual and different, but it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
Really,
it's
really lovely.
trying to do, you know, try and do something different,
Yeah.
just to offer something a bit different, I suppose. Flavours and textures that people may not have tried before. And yeah, that's what we aim to do. It's just keep ourselves on our toes and doing different things. And as I say, with people like Gavin and all of our vegetable suppliers, etc., it just makes our job that much easier. Because if you've got fantastic produce, you notice I didn't take a great deal of care in making sure everything was perfectly cut into there, because it's just, it's in there,
natural, isn't it?
it's flavoursome, you could cook that at home and it would be a really easy thing to cook. I mean, I've pre-boiled the beetroots this morning because I haven't got time to boil the beetroots when I got here. But quick and easy to cook. Really nice comfort food that you can just snack on. And as you say, it's healthy.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly.
again, using the Cornish rapeseed oil, which has got less saturated fat than olive oil, and olive oil is supposed to be good for you, so that's local again. So it's just trying to drive home this.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Any questions to that?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. So how long are you cooking these for?
Oh, another minute and they'll be done. And then
A chance to taste them.
there is a chance to taste them. I'll just get the second pan and we go.
Okay.
And then we'll get to taste a few more. And also with those, made a little dip up earlier, which has got the old famous caraway in it again.
Ah.
So basically we just took some sesame seeds, which we toasted and pureed to make our own tahini paste. So some toasted sesame seed, toasted caraway seeds, and then some yoghurt from Chilwell Dairy, which I just around the corner over there. Mix that together, just a simple yoghurt, a little bit of salt, and that's all there is to it.
Fantastic.
So we'd always do something like that with a small pot of something just to dip it in to go with it.
Very nice.
And I've got those pots. Some more of these pots, there we go.
It's interesting you talked about the rapeseed oil there, because
Yes.
I've never really heard of that. I've not heard of rapeseed oil, but not using it like this. So, you know, you would actually prefer to use that than olive oil or this great cooking oil.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very different flavour to olive oil. For me, olive oil can be a bit too harsh at times. The pomace oil, which is the second pressing of the olive oil, isn't as bad. You can use that for cooking and things, but certainly your extra virgin olive oil is quite full-on, intense flavour. Rapeseed oil, you know, if you want to try some, you could happily have a go on some of that. stick your finger in it. It's a very nutty flavour, but it's fantastic flavour. You can cook with it, you can boil with it, you can put it in salad dressings. So it's very healthy, very good for you. It's not amazing.
They look good.
And again, it's
Very, very good.
produced just down the road from the hotel, so yeah, we have to get those pots open as well. Like some more cooking in the next one.
Are you sure you haven't got any questions for Darren or Gavin? No, I just...
Most value questions.
It's your last chance to get one of the mugs, actually. Any questions or anybody want a mug? And who's got a question? Yeah. All right, then. Okay, well, who wants to come up and have a little sample? We've got about 7 of them. So it's the first 7 here. They look absolutely lovely.
Probably do a little spoon on different.
So, because there's some dip here, but we need to get a spoon for that.
Well, you oh, there we are. It is finger food, it's not really dipped straight in there.
That's wonderful, and another lot coming in here. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that you've really all enjoyed very much Darren's demonstration and Gavin's demonstration. So would you put your hands together and say thank you, because it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you. And I know the organisers would just like to say, if you have enjoyed today at the Cornwall Food and Drink Festival, there are 2 more days, tomorrow and Sunday, and it's all going to be brilliant, lots more demonstrations. And there's also an RNLI collection bucket floating around somewhere, so if you do have a little bit of spare cash, a few extra pennies, it's very, very gratefully received by the RNLI. So thank you very much indeed for coming along today, and thanks to our brilliant chefs today. Thank you very much. Thank you, and thanks to Steve for organising it all. Really great stuff. Enjoy the rest of the